There was no epicentre of the sexual abuse of children around Australia. Every room in every building in every institution and household where a child was abused was the epicentre, Government MP Russell Broadbent told Parliament on Tuesday night. Even though the Royal Commission has struck into the heart of the issue and exposed this for what it is, it still hasn't scratched the surface of the horribleness of this across this nation, the Victorian Liberal said, as MPs spoke in support of legislation to introduce a redress scheme to provide counselling and compensation for survivors. Mr Broadbent said there was abuse that had not been declared, that hadn't reached its fulfilment and hadn't been exposed. I just want to identify with all of those kids out there that have suffered and who have not told their story, who have not said anything for the whole of their lives and won't, he said. Legislation to enable the $3.8 billion redress scheme, due to begin July 1, passed the lower house on Tuesday night. Western Australia is the only government yet to sign on, but an agreement is expected in the next 6 to 8 weeks. The scheme would provide counselling for survivors and compensation up to $150,000. Labour MPs on Tuesday highlighted some concerns with the legislation, including that it denies compensation for some convicted criminals. It denies a fundamental justice to people who started their life with profound bad luck, Victorian MP Richard Marles said. People who have served 5 or more years in prison can only be considered eligible if providing them compensation would not bring the scheme into disrepute. Ballarat Labour MP Catherine King said she understood some people had committed unforgivable crimes. The later decisions and crimes of these survivors do nothing to negate the abuse that they as innocent children suffered, she said. This childhood trauma may have been a significant cause that led to later crimes. This bill seeks to potentially deny them that justice of redress. A Senate committee recommended the government consider the value of redress as a tool for rehabilitating offenders, noting that excluding criminal offenders could also have the unintended consequence of institutions not being held liable. Social Services Minister Dan Tehan announced the government had agreed or given in principle agreement to all 11 of the committee's recommendations, which also include reducing the deadline for institutions to opt in and doubling the acceptance period for redress offers to